guys, I'm Chris with foodloverslife.com, and if you have watched my seed starting video, then you know how to get to this stage with your seedlings. These are my tomato seedlings, and if you have watched my potting up video, you know how to get to this stage, which is going into the full size 16-gallon patio pot. Today what I'm going to do is just cover the steps in between, going to 4-inch pots if that's the way to go, or the bigger 6-inch pots, nice and deep. The final pot that would be your last transition before you either go into a patio pot or into the ground out in your garden. So I'm going to do that real quick for you. I've started my seedlings a couple of different ways. This is a germination tray, and these are the smallest cells that I use. I also started some seedlings in 3.5-inch pots, and that does save me a step. The ultimate goal is to pot up. Your last potting up would be into a 5.5, 6-inch pot like this. This pot will take you to a plant that is ready to either be put into one of our larger pots for the patio or go directly into the garden. Where you start depends a little bit on space and your confidence that you're going to get good germination. I always underestimate myself, and so I have the dilemma this year that I need 17 tomatoes and what I have is 34. And so that creates a problem, and I have to do the unthinkable and cull some of my tomato plants. I could, and some people do, with nice healthy plants like this, separate the ball and pot everything up, but I just don't have the space in my garden for 34 tomatoes. So I am going to pick the best ones and prune out the ones that I don't want. And so, for instance, this pot here, I started 2 seeds hoping that I would get 1, and I got 2. For some reason, the seeds ended up very close together, and so what I'm going to do is pick one and simply snip the other one out, and this will be my keeper, and this will go into the 6-inch pot for the next 6 weeks or so, and then it will go out into the garden or into a patio pot. Transplanting this up to a 6-inch pot is really simple. I'm just going to fill this pot with, again, potting mix, not garden dirt or soil from your garden. You still want to stay with your potting mix. And I just create a hole big enough to take the entire seedling, pop it out of its 3-inch pot, and just drop it right down in. And it is ready. Now I'll water that, and it will be sitting in the sun for the next 6 or 7 weeks, and hopefully get to about 12 to 16 inches tall with a nice stocky stem and lots of extra foliage by the time I plant it in the garden. Taking a seedling from a germination tray and potting it up to either a 3-inch pot, or I could go directly to my 6-inch pot if I'm sure I'm going to keep them. But I'm going to go ahead and just show you the trick that I use getting it from the germination tray into the 3.5-inch pot. And so what I do is I take this and I just create a cavity that's about the size of what I think I'm going to get when I pop one of these seedlings out of the tray, and I use a regular kitchen fork for this. And what I do is just slide down along one side of the germination cell, loosen it, keep it compacted, and just lift that out in one piece. And you can see a few roots coming through the bottom, so that's a nice healthy seedling. And I just drop it right into the cavity that I've created and pack that in. And that one is ready to sit in this pot for probably another 3 to 4 weeks, and then I'll pot it up to this size pot to wait until it's ready to go into the garden. That's really all there is to it. Your goal is to get to a 5 to a 6 inch pot to allow you to grow a tomato plant big enough that you have a real nice head start on your growing season, and hopefully you get tomatoes early July, mid-July at the latest.